What up? Welcome to another episode, the 37th episode to be precise.
We in the street like Sesame.
Oh, shut up. Of the Back of the Class podcast, we are your hosts. I am the Esteban Serrano.
I'm Juan.
I'm Zach Dion.
That's right, and it's number 37, and I knew Juan was not going to have a 37. So I Googled it and came up with Lester Hayes, who played for the Oakland Raiders. He was I believe he was a cornerback.
Is he a notable
He's
player,
a notable. He was on the 2 Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders
with John
defender.
Madden
He had the interception record for the Raiders or something like. He's notable, man.
Oh my god!
I got a good.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh my god!
I got a good friend who's a Raiders fan, so I will cross-reference that and see if he is a prominent.
Ask me.
Raider.
I can tell you anything you need to know.
Look, I was surprised you knew who Scottie Pippen won last week, so you're riding high right now in my book.
No, do you remember when Scottie Pippen was on the Raiders though?
Oh shit! Come on, man. Anyway,
he might have been to a Raider game.
This is a horrible start. I promise you, the show will get better as it goes on. We're going to talk about Lil Wayne's book. We're going to talk about Solange's #1 album. Okay, we're going to talk about who our favorite rapper to do a feature is. There's no real way to explain that. We'll explain it when we get there.
Yeah, who your favorite guy to see appear is?
Yeah, what he
said.
said.
Show up on somebody else's track. Yeah.
And we got some sound bites from some rock dads.
Metal dads, come on.
Metal dads.
Don't be that guy.
Come on, bro. I don't know anything. People who play guitar dads. Boom. Colin Kaepernick is starting on Sunday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to ask whatever happened to... You're going to have to wait and see who it is. And, of course, the weekend playlist. So...
Buckle up.
Buckle up, people. And let's just get into it, man. I just want to jump on in. Zach, let's set up this whole Lil Wayne situation.
Lil Wayne has a book called Gone Till November.
That's original.
It was about it's about that he was in jail till November that year in Rikers. It's taken a long time to come out.
Yeah, I almost forgot that happened.
Well, did he write this between seizures? Is that why it took long?
I don't know. I don't know.
What?
It's his fault.
That was tough.
So yeah, he put it out. I have no idea what it's like. I haven't heard yet. I've seen a lot of here's the info that we learned from it. Like he talked about, he was a suicide prevention aide in the prison for a little bit.
Rikers, right?
Yeah. He was very nervous to rap for his fellow inmates. He made $20 million while he was in jail.
Wow.
So there's a lot of tidbits in there. These books are almost always co-written with somebody.
Right.
This one,
who can actually write?
Yeah, this one I'm sure absolutely was. So I don't know if it sounds like him or feels like him, but it's there. And now we're getting a couple really funny interviews because of it.
Now I am super duper intrigued by this story, and from what I hear of it so far, it should be a movie. But I'm definitely going to read it. You going to read it, Zach?
Yeah.
Juan?
I will not be reading.
I want a free copy, but
I
will not be
knew
reading
Juan
it,
could
actually.
David. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Juan could David reads all the damn time.
I do.
picture books.
And why are you not going to read this Lil Wayne book? Do you just not care?
Yeah, let's go with that. I don't have a problem with Lil Wayne.
It's purely out of curiosity.
I just don't care about his life or him being in prison. Like, I'm sure there's interesting tidbits about being in prison and being a celebrity.
Right.
I'll grant it that. Yeah. But to read an entire book of it, I'm just not. That's me personally. I'm just not interested. I'm behind in comics. I'm like 2 weeks behind on my runs. I'm
this guy, man. Have you ever read a book by or about rappers?
No.
You know what's so good?
What?
RZA's book. It's called The Tao of Wu. It's like this big. It's very small and it's very thin.
Tower of Wu?
Tao, like
Towel? Like towel?
Tao.
Tao.
You know?
The Tao of Wu.
It's really good. It's the whole origin story from
that's
Staten all the way up through.
Oh man, I would love.
Going back to the Wayne book, did he have a ghost? Like he had, I'm assuming he had a writer to like help him put his thoughts.
I'm sure he did. I don't know.
We established that already.
Right.
Juan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You ain't even reading this damn interview that we're in right now, are
No, really? Did you really?
you? You just checked out of the whole segment.
No.
Jay-Z's book, Decoded. That's a really cool
Yeah, I'm not a
book.
big Jay-Z fan, so I didn't read that. I did read the autobiography of DMX, which was freaking amazing.
Wow.
See, that I would read because there's a lot of shit he went through.
Right.
Even before he
Oh my
hit
God.
it big,
Yeah, the stuff
so.
that he went through before was way better than.
I mean,
the
it's
stuff
been well
that-
documented, like interviews by other people and like the early like MTV used to have specials about like Def Jam
Right.
and that stuff, and Irv Gotti talked about it.
Yeah.
But just
That was a
listening to
great
that
one.
stuff, it's intriguing.
Yeah, I read Pieces to Wait, which was 50's book. I read the first Russell Simmons. I forget what that was. Def something.
Nice.
I read that one. I loved that book. And I have a bunch of rapper books in my crib that I'm sure I've read, but I just can't remember what the names are or which ones they are because it's been
I read Rocker.
while.
Like I read all of Corey Taylor's books.
Oh,
From
dope.
Slipknot. I've read all his books.
Oh, cool.
I'm a really, really, really big fan of his, so I read all his stuff.
Side note, did you see today Slipknot is changing the clown's name to the Mime because of the creepy killer clowns going around?
Oh, that's a good
Out of,
idea,
like,
guys.
respect.
Dude,
Yeah, he looks
a good
nothing
idea,
like a
guys.
mime. I don't know if they know what a mime is, but
real
True
quick,
that.
there was like this whole clown phenomenon, people just dressing up as clowns randomly.
Right.
Some idiot decided to do that in Chicago. I don't know
Oh,
what would
yeah, that
possess
was
you to do that in
brilliant.
Chicago.
Did they film it?
Yeah,
Then it was a stunt.
No.
was a rapper pulled up and threw
Yeah.
a gun, pointed a gun out the window, and the
And
clown
my man
bolted.
was out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Come
Who
on,
was
man.
it? Somebody billionaire?
I don't know who
Ben-
it was. I just saw the video.
Black-
Why do
Billionaire?
people insist on? See, this is the problem
Yeah.
with.
I wasn't just
the
like, oh
internet,
yeah,
man.
so it was kind of fucked up.
It's like stop trying to go viral. Stop trying. If you don't have any talent, just do something behind the scenes
You're talking about the
for
clown.
someone who is actually
Oh,
talented.
the rapper.
Well, to me, the
Come
most
on,
ironic
man.
thing is like, get out of here and leave these kids alone. I'm like, says the guy who's waving a gun out
Yeah.
the fucking car window.
Come
Like,
on, man.
I'm
It's
just
sorry.
like a neighbor-
The kids
neighborhood, it
in
looks like.
Chicago know what a gun is. They're not afraid of them anymore. A crazy clown in the hood got to die.
I think it's stupid on the clown's part because you're in
Agreed.
fucking shy. They call it Chirac for a reason.
And that's not because they shy.
Exactly.
They
that's
ain't
that's
shy.
idiot number one. And then idiot number two is the guy pointing a gun out the window saying, leave these kids alone, where any
Right.
kid could pass by in a bike or anything, just
Right.
walking home from school, and your gun goes off, and because it happens a lot, and you don't read about it a ton. You gotta look for shit like that, but it happens. So like, this is idiocracy. Is that a word, Zach? You're the writer.
Let's go
here.
with that.
Idiocracy to like the second power. Anywho,
Anyway, back to Lil Wayne's book. I don't know how we got all the way to Columbus, but it was a fun tangent.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to read it. Does it come out in November by chance?
It's out. It's out. It came out this week.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
that
I'll
would have
pick
been
that
good.
up. By
Gone till
chance.
November, out.
Is there
Guess
November.
when? November.
Is there somebody who you guys would want to hear a book by, or read a book by? I would like Kid Cudi after this stuff of the
Yeah.
last week.
I
I would.
wouldn't
I
mind
would be
reading
super
that.
interested in
Nah,
that.
that'd be too heavy for me.
No.
I don't want to read.
He's
it.
just he's a
Actually-
good writer though. Like, I'm thinking about writing.
That's a
quality.
good point.
Like, do I want to read a book by Drake?
I
I'd
wanna
read
read
Never.
I'd read a Nas book.
I'd read a Nas book. I was
Nas,
just
yeah.
about to
a
say
book
that.
written by Drake would be some shit you find at like Spencer's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just like lines.
And
with
it just
the
be
tell-
like sappy love poems
Exactly.
with like Drake on a horse with his with a white button down with the shirt hanging off and some crazy hot looking chick behind him like sedated. It would just be
And it would
weird.
come with a CD for some reason. I just
Oh.
get a feeling. I'd read a Rakim book.
I definitely
All right.
read a Rakim book.
I got.
And that Wu-Tang book, I'm going to read that, the Tao of Wu.
I got to tell you guys 3 quick excerpts from this New York Times Lil Wayne interview. And
Hit it.
contend with this. He said, "I haven't read it, and I don't plan on reading it. I'm not one of those people who revisit things. I don't remember shit. I could meet the president and forget it."
He
and
did. They did ask him who Donald Trump was, and he didn't know who it
He
was.
said, "I don't." He laughed and said, "Who?"
Who's that?
He's full of shit.
Who that is?
And then they asked him if he knew who like 21 Savage, Kodak Black, Lil Yachty are, and he's like, "I didn't know you were saying names right now." I think he was kind of fucking with him. I think it
Of
was that
course.
like Lil Wayne in the deposition mode, Lil Wayne. A
Yeah,
little
and
bit.
it's also like I can only like a New York Times writer showing up to. It's like a college professor showing up to your house asking you questions.
And yo, Lil Wayne is. If you guys ever want to laugh, there are some Lil Wayne interviews gone wrong on YouTube that are hysterical. Some guy in London was interviewing Lil Wayne and like tried to compare his music to poetry, and Lil Wayne went off. he was like, "Can you get him out of here?"
Really?
Like, threw him out. Like, I rap, sir.
All right,
I'm a rapper, sir.
Look that up.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And just for like the rap heads here and the Wheezy heads, he said Carter 5 is done. It's sitting. It's been wrapped up. He said, I listened to it for the first time in months the other day. I had forgotten every single word on it because I work every day. But I popped it in and I was like, it's still so much better than everything I've ever heard. Not what's going on right now, everything I've ever heard.
Wow.
Yeah, so. And he said I've been doing features since they were called features.
That sounds like a Kanye line. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Not this year.
But how does he know what he heard if he don't remember anything? So, we got to take that with a grain of salt.
Do you believe that he legit doesn't remember anything?
Absolutely 1,000%.
I kind of believe it too because he's been on that lean for so long.
Ooh,
I don't think so. Well, yeah. He talks about the past and he makes connections and stuff that he would have to
long-term memory probably, but short-term?
All right, Wheezy. Peace.
What he didn't forget is that Baby owes him money.
Yeah.
He ain't forget that shit. Anyway, so one of the things that was trending this weekend, it wasn't a surprise because Solange has always been like a well-received and I won't say celebrated, but appreciated artist for, her contributions musically. But her album, A Seat at the Table,
great
hit
title.
number 1. Definitely a great title. Hit number 1. It's been on repeat in my house, and I haven't played it. My wife is killing it. Everybody's playing it. But I just think the title and the fact that it's now number 1 brings up an interesting conversation that people have kind of had. Is like, where do you see or put Solange as it pertains to music? I almost feels like
you mean like, is she Beyonce's little sister or is she her own artist by now?
Not only that, like I almost feel like
what places
people feel like it's not fair to Solange to include her because she's Beyonce's sister, and they always compare. So I think A Seat at the Table is a great title, but at the same time, it's like, where do you put her? Do you give her? Is she a contributor to the landscape, or is she just kind of like on the outskirts? You know what I'm saying?
I think she became a contributor. I mean that EP from a couple years ago, true, it was really good, but it seemed like people were over obsessed with it to me. I don't know, but
interesting.
That could just be totally random, but this seems like a big work. It's a lot of songs. It's very interestingly designed. There's an interlude between almost every song, like a spoken thing. She was very explicit that it's about like self-care in a traumatic time to be a person of color, to be a black person, to be a woman in America. It's cool, and she went to number 1 with it. So I mean, I think that says more than what we could speculate. Like the fact that she went to number 1, and it was over another big album. I don't remember who.
Oh man!
But it makes her and Beyonce only the 3rd sibling pair to go to number 1.
Who are the first 2? Janet and Michael, I'm assuming.
Janet and Michael. The next one is a Southern rap god.
A Southern
It's
rap.
Master P.
Oh, I was going to say it.
And Silk the Shocker.
Yo, the fact that Silk the Shocker.
I was going to say it too, and it didn't come out of my mouth fast enough. Now no one will believe me.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. This seems like the apex for me of the Jhené Aikos and the SZAs and the and Willow Smith is like this too, of like the kind of airy, like atmospheric albums, and I really like those, but I also have to like sit down with them. It's perfectly easy for background music, but it never latches on unless I like sit and spend time.
Question: does she write her own stuff?
I don't know. I think so.
I think so too.
I think she's very involved. Like,
that's always been my one, not
a
knock, because it's not. I don't think it's a knock or whatever. But that's been one of the things that have kind of always held me a little back from fully appreciating Beyonce, just because I think she's incredibly like wildly talented vocally and.
But you're just like, what's real, what's
but
not?
What's real and what's not? Because it's like ever since I found out that like Dream and you know, all these people wrote so many hit songs. Obviously, she has to perform it, which is, like I said, like she deserves all the credit. But I just always have the utmost respect for somebody who writes it and performs it because it's it's part of the craft. You know what I mean? Like,
well, in hip hop, it's part of the craft, but in other genres, it's very rare.
Like Whitney didn't write all her own shit, and like Madonna didn't write all her own shit.
So it's very rare for an artist to actually be the one who's writing,
which makes you appreciate it more because it's that much more rare. So I wonder if she writes her own stuff or not.
She is credited as a producer, as Beyonce usually is, on every song. So whatever that means, and
that just means she was there,
right? And she's on the writing credits for most of them, and a couple of them have other people. Like she worked with big names, like she worked with Raphael Sadiq, she worked with Questlove, she worked with Q-Tip. But I get the feeling from listening to it that it's very personal and probably written.
I'm not even even if she did it, I'm not knocking it at all. I just always wonder, like, I wonder if they wrote you know, the words.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting she put out an album the same year as Beyonce within like the same 6-month span. I think that's really cool and that they're really different and nobody seems to be comparing them at all, which is like
at
that's
all.
Cool. Yeah.
And that is dope.
Yeah. All right.
Solange. I do like her name.
Solange.
And
Beyonce and Solange.
Recently I was watching a Family Guy episode from this season and they did like a spoof of Solange's Jay-Z fight in the elevator.
Oh no!
And Peter was inside the elevator, and it was so funny.
I think I saw that over your shoulder.
Yeah,
I think I did see that.
But good for her. It's tough to get out of that big ass shadow. So
yeah,
kudos to her.
Agreed. Now, in light of the recent Kendrick Lamar verse featured on the Maroon 5 record, I started thinking about the topic of who are some of your favorite rappers to feature on stuff. Like, I know for me in the blogosphere, if I don't know the name, but there's a feature on it, if I like the featured artist, I might listen to the record, but there's only a few names that have that power to pull me in. Yeah. So who are some of your faves?
I mean, every time Drake comes in, he can almost steal the song, you know? So
agreed.
That's why every song sounds like Drake featuring Drake.
Exactly.
I mean, he often does better than on his own record. So, like, obviously he's the biggest guy in the world. Everybody's going to check it out. But I think his, like, batting average for features is incredibly high.
I mean, for me, like, anytime I see M featuring, I always wonder, like, shit, did he shit on everybody on the song? Or is he in the... Because I remember, like, even, like, when he was doing stuff with 50 and G-Unit, like, that whole time, he was always last. Even on songs that were on his album, or just on, like, nobody wanted to go before. He would just, like, destroy it. And I feel like Kendrick is on that kind of plane where now, even when he's doing stuff with Black Hippie, he's usually the one that stands out.
Right.
He was on that Isaiah Rashad song on the Isaiah Rashad record, and he killed it.
Yeah.
He was on the Vice City on J-Rock's shit. He killed it. He, like, you know, everyone was loved forever. Drake, Eminem's verse, that's all everyone talked about.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though everyone, even Ye and even we
everyone
had dope lines, but so he's the one that comes to mind. Him and Kendrick come to mind. Jay comes to mind just to see me personally,
these days, especially.
just to see how hungry, because he doesn't sound, he hasn't sounded hungry to me in a long time.
Agreed.
So every time I see Jay feature, I'm like, all right, let's see.
But he's put out good stuff, but it just hasn't been.
Yeah. It just hasn't been like, and for us who have been listening to Jay forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So I think those two, M and Kendrick for me.
Who was just on my mind?
My favorite two.
Okay.
One is Big Sean. I always feel like when Big Sean is featured on other people's records, he really brings it. And I'm just a big fan of his wordplay and creativity when it comes to how he approaches records. And another one is Nicki Minaj, because that's when we get rap Nicki, and we are reminded constantly of how dope of an MC she is when she raps. We don't get that on Nicki records. We get that when she features on other people's stuff, and she bodies everybody.
She has that same thing. Her, Lil Wayne, and Drake can all, like, take over a song and make you think of it. Sorry, as a Nicki song.
Right.
Like, come on, Dance Ass. Or like No Flex Zone remix.
Exactly. I didn't know who
those are.
Ray Schwimmer was.
She's the centerpiece of those.
She killed that record.
I had one in my head when you said Big Sean, and it was really good. And it just flew away like a little bird.
What about last name Chainz, first name 2?
Oh yeah, 2 Chainz. But see, I won't click on it just because it's 2 Chainz featured, but I always appreciate the ridiculousness of what 2 Chainz has to say whenever he is on a record. Though.
Yeah.
2 Chainz is definitely one of my favorite, but he don't have that power.
I have it. 3 Stacks.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you see his name featuring on anything, you're just like, I'm listening to that first.
Right. Yeah.
Number one, because he hasn't put out
there's never a
body of work for a while. And when you see him he was on a Drake album. What was he on besides that? I mean, we've been talking about him being on.
He was on the Frank Ocean.
Yeah. There you go.
The old Drake album on Take Care.
Right.
So was he on the recent one? Also, it was Frank Ocean who we were talking about.
Frank Ocean.
But you see Andre 3000 on anything
and Travis Scott.
Andre 3000. There you go. That I'm just like, gotta go listen to that.
And he's gonna be on Cuddy's album twice.
Yes.
On whose? Cuddy's?
Yeah.
Listen, one of my favorite Andre 3000 verses of all time is when he was featured on Khalees's Millionaire, on Khalees's album Tasty.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
That verse is probably one of the greatest rap verses ever of all time.
Wow.
Featured. And I believe it's only a 12-bar verse. I don't think it's a full 16. That's number 1.
All right.
Number 2, remember when he featured on the remix to DJ Unk, Walk It Out.
No.
Now Walk It Out.
Holy
he fucking killed
cow.
That. Holy shit, I forgot about that song,
He killed
I completely forgot.
I walk it out like a usher. Like he just
I'm thinking about something completely different.
Walk it out. I walk it out.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
But his verse, oh my God, his verse on that record was stupid. Yeah. Andre 3000.
He's definitely the winner because like I'm gonna go and listen to those you just mentioned like right
exactly.
away. Yeah. But the Rick Ross song 16, you guys ever heard that?
Yes,
It's like 6 minutes long or something, and Andre
Yes.
just does like 2 minutes. That's
bananas.
Yeah. I think honestly anyone could be part of that list depending on who you like.
Right.
Like if I see Nas featuring anything, I'm all
True.
day. I'm listening to it.
Right,
So-
right.
But it's a difference between like our favorite rappers when we're
yeah.
excited and like the people who
No, 100%.
Who steal the show?
Yeah, like if we like for example that song Circles that came out today, I listened to it because you said Pusha T and Designer. I didn't listen to it because it said Ty Dolla on it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I do get the distinction.
By the
Word,
way,
word.
people go listen to that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And go listen to the Pusha T song from the day before,
which was
by Mike Will Made It.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mike Will.
Yo, Pusha, man.
I just hate it's like King Push coming out this fall. I'm like, is it?
Right. We
Is
don't
it?
want to talk about that. We don't even want to talk about that.
Anywho,
set up these rock guys who play guitar who are fathers segment that you grace
They're
us with.
metal guys.
This
All
is
right,
metal.
so in the last couple weeks,
Have you gone metal? Sorry.
in the last couple weeks, I talked to the frontman of the band Opeth, who are a Swedish metal band who've been going for like 25 years. They are very like prog rock. They have very technical stuff. They write like 10-minute songs often. They're just amazing. And like I said, the frontman Michael Ackerfeld, he's guitar and vocals, and he has a couple daughters. He might have 3, but he either has 2 or 3. Right?
Oh Lord.
And then
God bless him.
God bless him.
we talked for his album Sorceress, and then the band Every Time I Die, who are American. They're from New York State, and they are very different from Opeth. They are more like a hardcore band. They have like real southern kind of riffs. And I talked to the frontman Keith Buckley, and his daughter, his infant daughter, was crying on the phone the entire time. And at the end, so basically what I asked these guys is, I asked Michael, what do your daughters think of your music and your job and you? And I asked Keith, would you rather have your daughter one day read your novel that you just published or get into your music?
Right.
So these were those
That's
like
interesting.
these were those quick little conversations, and they were both like very gracious. They went with me down that road. Very funny answers.
So you can take a pass on this one if you want, since it's sort of personal. But I was just wondering what your daughters think of your music, if they have much opinion.
They're indifferent.
Yep.
You know, they don't necessarily like my music. I think my youngest daughter said that she said it bluntly, like, I don't like your music. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I love you too. But
yeah, I have a novel that I wrote that's on my daughter's level.
Secretly proud, you know. So she usually checks out which song is the most popular song on Spotify, meaning the song that has the most plays or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she tells me, but but none of them are interested in our music really. I brought them out to shows, festivals, and I can be on stage, and I always have them like get a seat on the side of the stage so they can watch the show, and then I kind of start playing. And I feel like, okay, we're doing well. It's sounding good. Dad is cool. And I look over to them, and they're just looking down in their cell phones. You know, they don't think I'm cool at all, and they think my music sucks. You know, but I make good pancakes.
Are you more excited for your daughter to read your book or hear your music?
Right now, I'm more excited for her to fucking take a nap because she is screaming and I can't get her to calm down. But I think read a book. I don't think that my music will. But I hope I don't know. I don't think that my music would appeal to her. But I do want her to understand how important it was to. What the fuck do I know? She's 9 months old. She might turn into a hardcore kid after all. Who knows? But I do want her to, when she's old, telling her grandkids, I would like for her to hold a book that I wrote.
It seems like every musician who's either in metal or hardcore or rock or punk who have kids now, and I ask them what their kids think, they're usually just like I interviewed Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth the other day, and he just said, he said they don't think I'm cool at all. They think my music sucks.
Yeah. I mean, everything your parents do sucks, until you get to your parents' age, and then you're like, oh, that was pretty sweet. So yeah, but it's strange because our music was specifically a rebellion to parents' music. So like to try to rebel against the music that was founded from rebellion is going to be a strange paradox. We'll see how she reacts to it because she's going to think that everything I do sucks for sure.
All right, now it's time for the Flex Zone. And some very controversial football things have been happening this year. Namely, most importantly, and we've spoken about
it's
it
like
on this
the
podcast,
controversial thing.
Colin Kaepernick not participating in the national anthem. Well, people were saying that, he's a backup quarterback. He's doing it for attention, yada, 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 yada. Well, he will start this weekend. Now, my question is, are the stakes really high? Does he have to perform to the utmost degree? Does he have to have MVP level stats and win the game and all that? Or does he just have to go out there and be competent?
It's unfortunate that he will have to, right? Because it's like these are separate things. Like his ability as a player, or his stature, and like what he's actually doing and standing up for, and being very like vocal and articulate about, and like actually laying out points. It's like that's amazing. No matter if he fucking throws interceptions for the whole game,
right? Yeah, man. I know. When I got the news, the San Francisco game is on at 1:00, as is the Eagles game,
and they're playing in a very. You know what? I've never been to Buffalo, but it's New York State, like not New York City, so it might be a conservative type of town. So
might be.
I don't know, dude. I'm not
pretty
from.
Sure
I'm not from. I've known people from Buffalo,
right?
I know that Rochester has like very bad racism problems. Like Rochester's a
and Buffalo's even more north.
So
it's a situation. It's a lynchation. Yeah, they're like a lynch.
They're in the same region, so I don't know.
A lynchation.
I feel like football wise, he wasn't doing well, so he was benched, and his replacement was even worse. So regardless of whether he did the stuff or not, the protest, he has to perform because he wants a starting job. He wants to redeem himself because he was once like the star of that team. They almost went to the Super Bowl.
No, they went to a Super Bowl, and then they almost went back to a Super Bowl.
So I feel it's gonna be magnified because of the recent stuff, but I don't think he's gonna have to perform no matter what, whether he protests it or not. I just think it's gonna be like more cameras rolling, more highlights shown, more emphasis on everything. But
what do you mean he
down.
hasn't? Has he started did he do a preseason game or something, or has he
he started a couple of preseason games? Okay. No, he's been the second string quarterback the whole season just because last year he just performed poorly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So they went another direction, as any team would do. Like, it's not,
right.
These are all football decisions. They're not
personal.
You protest, you're right on the bench. Like, he was right on the bench before he protested.
Yeah, he lost his job way before the afro and the
What week into the season is it? 4?
This is
5.
week 6, I think.
Is it 6?
So I want to know how on TV they address people taking the knee during the anthem. Like, obviously when it first started, it's like the big 24/7 news story, but each now
Sunday,
it's just
like, here are the highlights for Buffalo versus San Francisco. They started off with the protest, as some players often do nowadays. Okay. Like, they just show it and then they just go straight into the game.
But the interesting thing is that after Colin, a lot of other athletes in a lot of other sports started to do it, and more recently there was, I forget what her name was, but someone sang the national anthem and took a knee while singing the national anthem. So that was like, whoa.
And she was white.
Bigger. And she was white.
This is my next question. Have any prominent white people done this? So.
Yes. So, which was a stat. She got a hood pass forever. And that was like definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's definitely a great moment of unity. And that was the whole point.
Was it like a young woman?
She was young.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it was just crazy because, like, most of the comments were like, if you want to protest, just don't sing it. And I'm like, why? That doesn't send a message because somebody else is going to sing it and not kneel down.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, wherever.
Yeah, people don't really understand how protests work. I've noticed that too. This is not the time or place. It's like, actually, to protest is kind of a public thing. You actually want as much attention as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People don't get it.
But, whatever. But, yeah, so, I mean, I wish him all the best. I've always been a fan of Colin Kaepernick. Anyway, just his style when he was good, his style of play, his ability to scramble and extend plays with his legs, his arm. Just that whole excitement that he kind of brought to the game. And now that he's taking this stance, I almost champion him even more, and I really hope that he can play and succeed and kind of go really far. But
the only thing I just wish... I'm indifferent. I was never a fan of his. Right. I'm not a fan of him more now because he, whatever.
Way to make fun of me, right?
No, I'm just saying this is different. Like, I don't wish him ill will.
I'm not a fan of him now.
I wish him the best, like I would anyone. I just wish what he started was echoed by bigger stars. Like, I wish Russell Wilson would, either do it or support him, because like a lot of the bigger name like black quarterbacks, like Cam has said stuff here and there that he supports them.
Yeah, but Cam be messing up too.
Yeah, but he chose not to. Like,
stuff at the
it's just
same
like it'd just be cool to have more people echo. Like in NBA, like Carmelo came out, LeBron came. That was cool. Like I feel like in the NFL, especially like recently, like I don't know if you guys heard, like they surveyed 21 white NFL players, like random, and 21 out of 21 were voting for Trump.
Oh no!
Which is like super interesting because, like, in the locker room, they're like, it's a family, it's a brotherhood, black, white, whatever. Hispanic, whatever.
Nah.
And it's just weird, like it's
no, it's not.
It's just a weird dichotomy of like, well, you guys are voting for a guy who basically, I mean, I don't want to get
who hates everything that's not you guys.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, we cool with that. We don't really care.
Yeah.
The locker room is not the place to be this week based on Trump's.
Trump runs the locker room. We talk about locker room brotherhood. Trump runs the locker room, bro.
It's bad.
My God. I don't even want to say
that. But that did remind me when you said 21 out of 21 white quarterbacks. I also saw the other day.
Oh, not white quarterbacks, just white players.
Oh, white players, sorry.
There ain't 21 white quarterbacks.
But that reminds me of yesterday I saw something of like, if only men voted, Trump would have every state except like 2 now, based on what people are seeing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what?
Holy cow.
Dude, I can't even get it. I just can't. I can't even.
We got another 4 weeks of this.
Yeah,
so
I can't wait till this election is over. Just put us out of our fucking misery.
Yeah, no, it's gonna crescendo right till the end. I think.
Just fucking like I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. Like, fuck. Like, whatever him is, whatever. Like, it's the people around me and the people I see on my feeds on different social media. Like, the misinformation
terrible.
and the ignorance, the blind support.
Right.
And I don't support. I'm not either party.
Right.
I support some conservative views that I see in line with me. I hate some of them.
Right.
I support some democratic views, and I hate some. I don't.
Yeah, agreed.
But the ignorance that people post, the misinformation, the horrible links that have no validity to them, and the responses to comments, it's just.
It's a real test of your social circle and your family right now. It's tough.
It's my thumbs want to just start typing. I was you know what? I'm not even.
And it's also the what people choose to use to support Trump is my favorite stuff. I was on Instagram on the Discover feed, and I saw a meme that had basically what it said was Hillary during her time as senator or whatever lost $7 million in some kind of funding. Trump lost $111 million of his own money. Wouldn't you rather have someone who loses their own money as opposed to taxpayer money? And I was like, really? Is this your argument? I'd rather not lose any money, but I definitely don't. This is not even worth having a conversation about.
It's just funny because people I respect, people I like or love.
Right.
It just boggles my mind how you could be so intelligent on some things and just be so blind to it. It drives and it is the only thing I'll say about the whole locker room thing is what he said is what he said. The athletes that came out were like, I never heard that. Stop,
shut up.
You're full of shit.
Right.
I've been in locker room.
And I hate any sports related anything that back that up. It's well, we're in a locker room all the time. We don't hit man. Shut up.
You're full of shit. You're against him and that's whatever. That's how you choose to.
That's locker room talk. Absolutely,
that's bullshit. It is. My thing is that he's dumb enough to have a mic on and not assume that shit is on.
Right.
That is just ignorant and stupid to me, and that is what makes me you should not hold any sort of public office if you're not smart enough to not say shit that may incriminate you, whether 11 years later, 2 years later, 1 year later, you have a mic on.
He doesn't care. He just doesn't
You have
care.
to assume this shit is lie. Exactly. And then that's not a trait you want someone to lead your fucking bake sale, let alone the country. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of bake sale, if he was running your bake sale, he might promote it to be 20 days after the actual date. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah.
That one clip where he encouraged everyone to go vote November 28th. Everyone go out and vote. I was this can't get any better.
We got to move on. We got to warn people when we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, true. Sorry, guys.
We didn't come in trying to talk about it.
No, we
damn
never
you, Kaepernick.
That's my fault.
Oh my God. But anyway, we were preparing for recording this on Wednesday when Juan was taking a day off. So I came up with this Whatever Happened to J-Kwon. Hood hop, everybody get tipsy. The ode to underage drinking. He was 17 when he put that record out.
Damn.
I don't know how old he is.
I know
now.
I know the only the only information I've had since that was that apparently he has 8 kids or something.
Wow.
Is that true? I remember reading that somewhere.
I don't know how many kids he got. I know he's still doing appearances, doing clubs and
still
things
playing
like
tipsy?
that.
He tried to make more after that. It just didn't stick. I know that.
When was that?
Tipsy? I don't know. 2006, I want to say.
So he's still a young guy then?
Yeah, he might be 28, probably 27. 28 years old now.
You ever hear his name come up in conversation or anything?
Nah.
Right now?
Nah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
It's interesting, too, because people will tweet him and say, hey, I'm at a party and, no one's turning up. What do you suggest?
2004.
We'll tweet.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, 04. So they'll tweet, J-Kwon, come rescue our party. How do we get everybody tipsy?
Wow.
Yeah, man.
It is still you play at a party, you're gonna get reactions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of those hits that I remember the song. It's a feel good song. It's a fun song.
Do you guys have any idea how a hip hop star does off a one hit wonder versus how a pop star or a singer songwriter who that song always gets used in movies and stuff, and you figure they're good for their life.
From what I understand, It depends on how big the record is, and it depends on how much you contributed to the record.
Okay.
But like, let's say J-Kwon wrote the record, so he gets half of the residuals. If that record was a #1 record,
even if it was under a label, wouldn't the label get most of it?
not most of it.
No.
They'll get. I mean, again, it depends on if it's a sample in it. It depends on if it was a big producer, and then there's a lot of leverage with it. But from what I understand, the producer wasn't big. It was a local St. Louis producer.
He was signed to a label or no?
He was signed to. I want to say it was So Def. I want to say it was that, but I don't know.
You can say it, man.
So let's say, So let's say J-Kwon.
So Def, you're right.
So Def. So let's say J-Kwon got 35% of the record, and the label got 30, and whoever produced it got, whatever.
And if it was a #1.
And if it was a #1 record, like a real big record, which I'm assuming it was, and this was, again, the ringtone era, so that was a whole nother check that came in. People were still buying records.
And that's before Spotify.
That was a whole nother
Apple
check.
Music.
He could have made between like 5 and 20 million.
And it was probably used in movies, like big studio movies.
Oh, yeah, of that era, But
he could probably just be paid right now and just...
That's what I mean, like, over the years, like, if you have a hip-hop one-hit wonder that is not, like, Smash Mouth or something that gets used in every movie.
If you get a one-hit wonder that's of that year, that kind of pinpoints that year, it doesn't, like, have, like, it's not summertime where every year it's going to probably, net you some bread, you can get a good check for that. Now, what you do with that is different. And also, like, if you were smart enough, and it seems like he was, to ride the wave of appearances and stuff like that, then that gives you cash money that, depending on, what you
just a funny
get.
little tidbit here. I'm on Wikipedia on his page. His website, still a MySpace page. Just throwing it out there.
Wow.
So...
MySpace.
Wasn't Justin Timberlake making MySpace sexy again?
Back in the day, yeah.
It seemed like he abandoned that really quickly.
Yeah,
but
that was a nice check.
Maybe
probably once he was casted in social media, a movie about Facebook, maybe it was time for him to switch from MySpace.
Right. But anyway, while you're drinking this weekend, I don't drink. But while you are drinking, maybe you want to give J-Kwon some love and play Tipsy on your
And if you know
Spotify
what he's up to these
title.
days, hit us up. Because I would love to know what he's doing. Maybe he bought a startup company and he's just sitting on a big fat,
Again, like I
cash.
said, he does parties. He does, he makes appearances. So he's still out here in these streets.
Yeah.
So check him out. Everybody get tipsy. And
apparently he dissed Odd Future. That's news to me. In 2013, he made a diss track titled "Pushing the Odds," produced by H Snow Beats towards Odd Future and Pusha T.
How dare he?
Okay.
Why would you do that?
So on that note, what are you listening to this weekend?
I got an early link to listen to the Korn album.
Oh, wow.
So I will be listening to that this weekend because that song with Corey Taylor is been on repeat on my phone for the last week. I love Corey, and this new Korn stuff is sounding very similar to when I fell in love with Korn in like the late 90s. Yep. So I'm super hyped about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to check that out too.
So that's what I'm going to be listening to.
And obviously, after we were hanging out with Head earlier this
year.
Yeah.
Right,
this feels like when they say, "Oh, it sounds like our first 2 albums" or whatever, that they actually might have gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yep. I'm going to be very rock heavy with the next couple because then Metallica's album comes out next month, and I'm going to be.
It's a good time for it. I've been listening to a lot of heavier music at work too.
I'm super hyped. I need a good switch up from the usual hip hop noise that I'm always listening to.
Yeah.
Noise.
It's
a lot of screaming.
There's just been
noise.
so much good hip hop all year. Yeah.
why
Esteban,
not?
you got your answer?
No. What
Pass.
do you got?
I am going to listen to some live music at the Barclays Center, played by Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Common, Alicia Keys.
Oh my lord.
Lauryn Hill, T.I. So
the minute you said Lauryn Hill, I thought in my head, card subject to change.
Right, exactly.
No, she's picked it up. So I'm really excited. It's
Nice,
a title. It's the second title like charity show in October. They did it last year too. So I did not go there last year.
Is that breast cancer awareness? Is that what the charity is?
I'm not sure, man.
I'm sorry. I'm assuming gender and agendas.
It's co-hosted with,
Sorry.
it says, NYC's largest poverty fighting organization,
Oh, okay.
Robin Hood. So, and also this album by this guy Francis in the Lights. It's a couple weeks old. He's a Chance the Rapper collaborator. Unreal. And there's more metal for me too. Meshuggah, another Swedish band.
Meshuggah.
Yeah, love them.
Word.
What you got?
I got nothing. I'm just going to be listening to the Davies project. I want to be listening to some more Solange. I want to hear the Fantagram album that I didn't get to hear yet. But like I said, Bon Iver and freaking Solange have been dominating my crib as of late.
Cool,
and
man.
I have not been the one to be playing these.
I thought Zach was going to say Bon Iver again.
It's still, I mean, it's a half-hour album, so I get to listen to that like most days pretty easy. But I don't need to tell you guys every week. Just assume.
Cool.
Cool.
So that brings us to a close. If you are a fan of the Back of the Class podcast, please rate, subscribe, and leave us a review so other people too can get to enjoy.
Oh, and we're on Friday now, guys. We're moved to Fridays. So
yes.
you're
but
gonna
if you
listen
subscribe
to
to
Friday.
us, you'll get it.
You get it anyway.
Yeah, you just get it one day later. And if you don't subscribe, shame on you. Subscribe.
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, and the Back of the Class is out.
Adios.
Peace.